Fortnite, one of the most successful video games of 2017. While it was flopping when it came out, it had a meteoric rise since the introduction of the Battle Royale mode. With constant updates and events, they keep their fanbase entertained, and even though Epic seems to be a really exploitative company, nobody seems to care. But what if I told you there's a game that was an even bigger failure than the initial Fortnite release? What if I told you that I found the hidden sequel to Fortnite Save? Our story starts with a small game called Lily, Child of Geos, a game that I played a really long time ago and revisit from time to time. It was originally released for smartphones by a company called Bitmonster and later ported to PC. While the main gameplay consists of mostly running around and talking to people, it has an interesting gameplay loop which tasks you with hunting down spirits and picking flowers from their bag. It sounds strange, I know, nevertheless it's a really short and sweet game that I can only recommend. When I first played Lily, I didn't have the mental capacity to just click on a developer and check if they release similar games, and even if I did, I would have not found anything that interests me because Bitmonster only released one other game on Steam called Grav. 2015. Roughly 5 years after the initial Fortnite trailer. Funny, it even has similar art styles, emotes and dances and similar walk animations. Since I'm not an expert on Fortnite, I called someone up that loves Fortnite and FNAF and could be considered part of the target audience. Do you think Grav is similar to Fortnite?
Do I think Grav is similar to Fortnite?
Yes.
Not at all.
While the expert seems to disagree that Grav might be similar to Fortnite, it takes just a little bit of digging to make the connection. The first hint I got that this might be connected to Fortnite was during my expeditions through the Steam discussion board. By the way, this board is comedy gold. There is so much garbage here, but if I could highlight one specific post, it would be the Press F to Pay Respect one, which to this day, more than half a decade later, still receive comments. Anyways, the post that got me going was this one. Why the hate on this game? It's still a good game. To which someone responds with, there are also rumors that work on this game was reused in Fortnite. Of course, nobody had any tangible evidence, and even though I tried to ask the community if they knew anything about the situation, nobody had any information. Given that Grav is from 2015 and the initial Fortnite trailer was from 2010, it is just wrong to assume that assets in Grav were reused in Fortnite. If any assets were reused at all, it would be the other way around. Going to the Bitmonster website gives you nothing because the website is down, it doesn't exist anymore, and trying to find out who made this game is difficult since I don't own the game and I'm not willing to pay for an unfinished product that will probably never see the light of day. Fortunately for us, someone with a huge brain started archiving the Bitmonster website ever since Grav came out, and while most of it is pretty uninteresting, there is one section that helped me immensely, the About section. Here we can see that Bitmonster once consisted of 5 people: Desmond Rogers, A.A. Ron Smith, Mikey Spano, Martin Switzer, and Matt Tonks. As research protocol demands, I had to try my luck. I tried to contact Desmond Rogers via Twitter, but his last tweet was in July 3rd of 2020. His last Instagram was a very long time ago, but through some internet sleuthing I found out that this guy works or worked for Squanch Games, the games company from the creators of Rick and Morty. But this is interesting, it doesn't help us with our investigation. A.A. Ron Smith is a mystery to me. You know how many fucking A.A. Ron Smiths there are? Mikey Spano's Twitter account doesn't exist anymore. Meanwhile, Martin Schweitzer's Twitter account is still active, but I couldn't make any contact. And finally we have Matt Tonks. While his Twitter is semi-active, I could also not contact him at all. On his account, the Bitmonster website is still linked, and beyond that there aren't any connections to any other social media sites. The interesting part about all of this though is that almost all of the developers worked to some extent for Epic. Most of them worked on Gears of War and Unreal Tournament. The most interesting part though is that Matt Tonks worked on the prototype for Fortnite. And here is where we would have ended our journey, because there is no further connection beyond that. I have literally no idea how I found out about this company, website, game called Big Time. But in the press section, we can find not only Matt Tonks, Martin Schweitzer, but also A.A. Ron Smith on the board, and all of them claim to have worked on Fortnite.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And from here, it's not a big stretch that the lead designer and the lead artist of a game that had third-person shooting, build mechanics, and have very iconic dances and emotes probably used some of the ideas from Fortnite for Grav. If you think this is not enough evidence, we can find a Trello board for Grav, and there are some things that look familiar. For example, those chests look really similar to the ones in Fortnite, and even their colors seem to be the same. Those grenades also look really similar to the ones you can find in Fortnite. Also, just looking at the trailers, the movement and the third-person shooting looks really similar to Fortnite. And as I mentioned in the beginning, we have building, dances and emotes, and even gliding in the game. All things you can find again in the modern version of Fortnite, making Grav the unofficial hidden sequel to Fortnite that was never finished. While it is true that games never get finished, they get abandoned, some are left more abandoned than others. There's no doubt in my mind that those people are talented. Making video games is hard, and making Grav was and is probably a gigantic task. Still, moving on from the project and never making a final update is kind of scummy. An anonymous trusted source, though, did confirm that they would be still interested in finishing the game, but the only thing that they can do for now is keep the company up and pay their taxes. The reason why they don't go open source is because of legal reasons with the Unreal Engine, and finally the game is simply not generating any money to continue working on it. With all that said, I don't really think that Grav is the actual sequel to Fortnite. While there are similarities and both are third-person shooters with building mechanics and some of the Grav developers worked on Fortnite, there are many games that are third-person and have building mechanics in them. That alone doesn't make them sequels, prequels, or spin-offs. Nevertheless, it's interesting to see the developers that worked on Fortnite ended up working on something that has similar DNA. Just to make my point clear though, it's still kind of scummy to keep the game in early access and never updating the community. It gives the feeling of the developers not caring about the game at all, and this makes it look like an exit scam. Anyways, you should try out Lily Child of Geos. It's a sweet game. I have no idea who gets the money from the sales, but you should try it out. Take care of yourselves, and have a nice day.